Hey there, Queen. Welcome. Quick question. Would you give more to someone who has already mismanaged what is in their hand? Most, if not all of us, would say no. And yet, some of us can expect God not to operate this way. So let's talk about managing what you already have. You see, sometimes I know my life is lifing. And then there are other times where God may be giving us a test to see how we handle a little before he gives us a lot. And then there are other times when we cannot see the issue, we cannot see the problem, we cannot see the blind spot because our habits, our choices, and our justifying and rationalizing keeps us stuck, keeps us blinded to the fact that the biggest block is us. Meaning our choices, our habits, our rationalizing, and our justifying keeps us from having and getting more. And before I get into the heart of what I'm going to be sharing with you today, I want to address the internal talk, the internal chatter, the internal conflict you may already be having within yourself. Because you may be saying, well, who are you to talk to me about my finances? Who are you to speak to me about how I handle money? Who are you to share with me some best practices on things I could do with my money? And I just want you to know this. If that is you, you may be saying you're the confidence person. You are the person who show up and speak to me about the quality of my life, not about my money. And you may also be saying that what I do and how I spend my money has nothing to do with confidence. So make it make sense. And I'm going to make it make sense. So here it is. While you may not walk around checking your bank account from minute to minute or even week to week, the state of your bank account does impact your confidence. If you are living your life in such a way that you are robbing Peter to pay Paul, that is impacting your confidence, even though you may not recognize it. Because here's the thing. When you are robbing Peter to pay Paul, that puts stress in your body. And that stress, although it is internal, it is actualized in your day-to-day life, meaning it actually does show up. It shows up in the way that you handle things, in the way that you address things, in how you feel about yourself, and how you feel about the state and quality of your life. You know the money in your bank account is low and you're depending on overdraft protection to save you, to bail you out. That is having an impact on how you see you and your ability to take care of and provide for you. And you know why? Because you're depending on your bank for your livelihood. You're depending on your bank to be there for you when you're in a pinch because you're not able to do it for yourself. You're dependent on someone who you don't know personally to show up for you in a very real and practical way. And that shows up in your mindset. When you are down to your last 1,100 or maybe even your last $10, please believe me, that shows up in you and within you internally when you see something that you may need or even something that you just may want. It shows up in the internal conversation that you're having in your head. Because you know at that point you are in a survival type of state. You are doing things just so you can survive. So there is a myth about money. And the myth is that money only impacts us financially. That's not true. Money impacts the different aspects of our lives. Because when your financial state and status is not where you desire or want it to be, that impacts different aspects of your life. So if you try to box me into the title of a life coach, or saying that you are the lady who speaks about confidence, conviction, and clarity, then you will miss the bigger part of my message, the core of my message. And for those of you who don't know, the core of my message is this. In order for you to transform your life, you must be willing to do things that positively change your life so that you can have a better quality of life. And that includes how you handle your money. That includes how you steward your finances. That includes how you do or don't put your money to work for you. So now that I have that out the way, here's what I also want you to know. That Jesus even showed us this with the parable of the talents. When you think about the 3 men, they each had a different amount that was given to them. Now, one had 5, one had 2, and one had 1. Now, the thing about it is, the 2 that had more, they doubled what they had. So the one who had 5, he doubled his to 10. The one who had 2, he doubled his to 4. But that one who had 1, well, they didn't do anything. They just buried it. So they didn't use it. They didn't put it to work. They didn't maximize it. And if you know your Bible, if you have heard the story of the parable of the talents, then you know that Jesus was not pleased with the person who buried the 1. Why? Because when God gives us something, he has an expectation that we will multiply what he gave us. And so the question on the floor for you to consider is, are you taking the chance to multiply what you have? Are you using and stewarding your money, your finances in such a way that you are able to have your money work for you and not just you working for money? Because that principle, it applies today. To those, or to that one who wasted, because he didn't do anything with it. He just buried it. He wasted it. And did God give him more? Did Jesus give him more to waste? He didn't. He rebuked him. And I'm not trying to preach to you, because I'm not a preacher. But I will share with you that in that particular instant, when Jesus came back, he had a harsh word for that one who mismanaged the one he had. And even though he only had 1, Jesus still had an expectation that he would do something with the 1. So even if you only have a little bit, my question for you is, what are you doing with the little bit to make it more? Or are you squandering it? Or are you wasting it and then asking God to supply you with more, or saying you need more? Look at your budget. What does your budget say you are doing with your money? Where is your money going? If you don't have a budget, then it's quite possible that you are spending your money and you don't know where it's going, because you don't even have anything set up to determine how much is going to be spent here versus over here. How much am I going to spend on things that I want versus how much am I going to spend, or do I have to spend on the things that I need. Think about it. So today I want you to recognize that maybe the reason that you don't have more is because God is looking to see how you handle what you already have, and He can see that you are struggling to manage what you currently have. So it would be unwise for Him at this particular point to give you more to handle when you're already not able to handle what you already have. So maybe the door to more hasn't opened because God is waiting to see what you are going to do with the little. When are you going to wake up and realize that the way you're handling the little is a problem? Because think about this. You wouldn't knowingly put your money or your credit cards in a pocket that had a hole that was big enough for it to fall out of. You wouldn't knowingly put your money or your credit cards in a purse and you knew that at the bottom of that purse was a big, gigantic hole, and the money and the credit cards were just going to fall out. Yet there are some people who find themselves in cycles of making poor financial decisions. They keep repeating the same or similar money draining habits, or engaging in or getting involved in relationships that are money draining relationships. And then they're looking at God like, why? What's going on? Help. And it's not that God is not supplying. It's that there are sometimes that the block, and I say this with love, the block is you. The blind spot is you. The reason you don't have your blessing yet is because of you and what you are choosing to keep doing. It's what you are doing to you. And so if you find yourself feeling stuck, today I'm asking you to sit with yourself and do some self-reflection. Are you doing it to you again? Are you falling back or falling into the same money draining habits that keep you blind and stuck to where your money is going? I'm going to say it again. Are you doing it to you again? Are you falling back or into the same money draining habits, choices, or behaviors that keep you from recognizing and realizing where your money is going? Now, if that's you and you can relate or identify to mismanaging your money, then beyond feeling bad, I want you to decide what powerful decision, what powerful change are you going to make starting today? It doesn't have to be something big. One small tweak to what you do with your money and how you manage your money can change the trajectory of your financial state. So here's what I want you to know before I go. While I focused on the parable of the talents and breaking down what happened with those 3, the question for you today is, did you see yourself as one of the servants He called faithful? Or did you see yourself as the one that He was not pleased with? And if you saw yourself as the one He was not pleased with, what are 3 money draining habits that you have? Can you identify them? If you can't identify them, who is it that you need to work with to equip you to be able to identify them. Because if you can't identify it, you can find yourself denying it. And if you deny it, then you won't ever get to the place of eliminating it. It'll keep you stuck. And as you think that through, recognize that awareness is a powerful first step. And today, that's what I wanted to do. Get you to a place and state of being aware of where you are. When I follow back up on this topic, I'll be on part 2. And in part 2, that's where I'll share some practical application for you that you can apply to your life and in your life. For now, I want to leave you with this final thought. Before you can get to a place and state of abundance and overflow, you must first be able and willing to show God that you are capable of managing and multiplying what's already in your hands. As always, I'm Coach Sam telling you that 24 hours doesn't seem long, but in 24 hours, you can change your life. So go ahead and do something life-changing now.